boy Cmoney back with another video, and today we gotta talk about Monday Night Raw, the June 8th, I believe, yes, June 8th, 2026 episode of Monday Night Raw, and this was a pretty good episode. It was in Paris, France, and you know, when WWE's in France, it is electric, it is loud, it's awesome. So yeah, this episode of Monday Night Raw was pretty good. We're going to talk about it. So, first though, I want to talk about just a little bit about SmackDown, because I didn't get to make SmackDown reactions, because this weekend was just very, very, very hectic with we got family stuff and all that, so I wasn't able to make a video. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about SmackDown. It was good. We had, let's see, Cody and Gunther and Sammy had a little segment, you know, whatever. Gunther wants a rematch for the title after getting screwed over at Clash in Italy with his foot under the bottom rope. And then, so just that whole thing, and then Sammy got involved. It was just whole thing, whatever. Cody and Gunther are going to get a rematch eventually. Well, what else happened? There was a whole thing between Royce Keys and Solo Sikoa again. Solo's still trying to recruit Royce Keys. Damian Priest doesn't trust Royce Keys. R-Truth, though, he likes him, so they're trying to, like, team up to take on the MFTs. But Damian Priest doesn't like Royce, so it's that whole thing. Yeah, it's just that whole thing. Raquel Rodriguez advanced in the Queen of the Ring tournament, which is awesome. Because, unlike Liv Morgan, Raquel deserves to be in the freaking tournament. And then, what else? And we had Ricky Saints defeated Carmelo Hayes. Dominic Mysterio advanced in King of the Ring, which means he has to face Oba Femi in the semis. We're going to talk about that for what happened on Raw. And then, yeah, you know, Chad Gable returned, and he had a whole interview with Nick Aldis. He met with Nick Aldis, and then he actually, there was a segment, he apologized to Rey Fenix, because after, yeah, my dog is here, as you see, just growling, rolling, whatever. It's my dog. And so he was apologizing for Rey Fenix because, like, you know, Chad Gable realized, like, after his whole mask versus mask match, which was awesome, like, he realized that, you know, he was, like, treating Lucha, he did the whole El Grande Americano thing just to make fun of Lucha Libre, when now he realizes, like, it's bigger than that. He was making fun of a culture, he was making fun of, like, an entire country, really, you know, like, Lucha Libre is no joke, and he finally realized that, and he wanted to apologize to Rey Fenix, and then he's like, Rey Fenix is like, I got you, bro, but you gotta apologize to some other people, too. So, then what happened, Chad Gable, we see him on Raw, and we'll talk about what he does on Raw. So we'll talk about that. But just very cool, Chad Gable, kind of like the baby face now, and realizing that, like, he's apologizing for making fun of Lucha Libre. Like, he realizes the amount of, like, respect and honor that it goes into, you know? So that was just very cool, you know? And to see just Chad Gable as a babyface again, you know? Very cool. Julia is no longer with Kiana James. They turned on each other because after Kiana James lost her Queen of the Ring Fatal 4-Way, her and Julia got at it, and then Julia went at her and taken her down, so that was very cool. Finally, Julia can be on her own again. What else? And, like, Lash Legend beat Chelsea Green. What else? Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton teamed up to take on Jade Cargill and Michin because they had a whole thing with Rhea Ripley was out there. Whatever. Just women's tag match. Jade Cargill and Michin picked up the win. And, nope, there's my dog. Danhausen was doing Danhausen things as usual. And, yeah, and that was about it. So it was pretty good. Now let's get into Raw. Raw in Paris, France. It was so good. Raw starts off with Oba Femi, and it is electric. They're chanting, Oba, who, Oba. France is so loud, and Oba's loving it. He's enjoying it. Remember, he qualified last week, and, you know, first thing he talks about Brock Lesnar, he's reminding Brock Lesnar, hey, we're 1-1. I'm gonna see you down the road. And, you know, just warning Brock, like, hey, we're not done yet. Then Dominic Mysterio comes out. Because, you know, they're going to face each other in the semi-finals next week. And Dominic's going to die. and Dom's saying all this, he's bragging, he's yeah, they're booing him, All of a sudden, JD McDonough comes from behind Obafemi, whacks Oba with a chair. Oba does nothing. The chair just bounces off his back. Oba doesn't feel a thing. And then Oba turns around and is going after JD, but then Dom comes in. Dom hits a 619, but then Obafemi slams Dom and was going to give him the fall from grace, but JD McDonough saved him. And then Obafemi goes, "We all know that Rey Mysterio is your father, but next week I'm going to introduce you to your daddy." Oh my gosh, Obafemi. I love Obafemi, bro. So, yeah, he's going to kill Dominic Mysterio next week. And he's going to make it to the finals, and then he's going to lose. What are you doing? My dog's freaking out over here. He's going to lose. Brock is going to screw him over. Oba's going to make it to the finals, and he's going to get screwed over by Brock. The question is, who's going to be with Oba in the finals? That's what we got to talk about, because then what happened in the main event. Let's talk about the main event. Javon Evans qualified for the he won the Fatal 4-Way, advancing to the semifinals. So that's like, okay, wait a minute now. So we have Obafemi and Dominic, right? And then Javon qualified. Javon Evans beat Seth Rollins, who I thought had a chance of winning. Seth Rollins, Tala Tonga, Ricky Saints. Hey, stop it. Stop it. My dog is misbehaving. Yeah, I'm like, wait, alright, so Seth Rollins is out because he got screwed over by the Vision. Seth was gonna win. Austin Theory pulled out the ref. Then Braun Breaker came in and speared him, allowing then Javon Evans picked up the win. It was cool because Ricky Saints thought he was going to win, because Ricky Saints was like crawling towards Seth. He's like, oh, I'm going to win. Then Javon Evans comes out of nowhere. OG cutter. Javon Evans advances in the tournament. So it's like, okay, so dang, that's because I thought Seth was the favorite, because if Seth was going to win, and they had a whole thing, Seth had an interview, and he's like, because he thought the Vision was behind him after he beat Braun Breaker last week, and he's like, after I win King of the Ring, that means I got a date with Roman Reigns for the World Championship. And, you know, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins, oh my gosh, I want to see them go at it so bad. And we thought it might happen, but no, because then Seth lost King of the Ring. So I guess we're gonna have to wait to see Roman and Seth. But I'm sorry, kid, but I was trying to say, Seth, he said that whole thing, and then he had a whole backstage thing with the Usos, where the Usos were like, stop talking about the family, and then Seth is like, I'm not talking about the family, I'm talking about Roman, and, I got no problem with you guys, I'm just disappointed with you guys that you still have to do Roman's dirty work. And then, Jimmy and Jay were like, Jacob, take care of him, because Jacob's with him now. Jacob is face-to-face with Seth, and then just walks away. And the Usos are like, and this is all backstage, and the Usos are like, what the heck? And Seth is just like laughing. So, and then they confront Jacob backstage, and, Jacob's like, I acknowledged Roman. I didn't acknowledge you two. I acknowledged Roman. So it's just, dissension in the ranks there. Jacob's, he's saying like, hey, I acknowledged Roman. I did not acknowledge you, so I'm not going to take orders from you. And then he was given the he was giving them crap because how LA Knight, he brought up LA Knight. He's like, hey, LA Knight's been talking all this crap about the family. You guys haven't done anything, so how about you go take care of him? And that's exactly what happens, because then LA Knight goes out there, and of course he's talking about the family, he's talking about the bloodline, all this. Then Jey Uso comes out, and because LA Knight and Jey Uso, along with Finn Balor and Royce Keys, that's the last Fatal 4-Way that's going to happen this Friday on SmackDown. Winner will then face Javon Evans in the semis. And, LA Knight and Jey Uso are going at it. Jey Uso is doing the whole yeet thing. He's like, run it back. And then Jey Uso is like, this is your warning shot. Bah! Bah! And yeah, and that was it. And And then LA Knight's like, hey, Jay, I got nothing against you for, supporting your family. I got nothing against that. But Jay, he just goes, screw your family. That's it. And then Jay got all pissed, and Jay was going back, and then Jamie's like, no. Jamie comes running out. No. He's not worth it. Stop. Let him go. And then that was it. So we're going to see them two in the match with Royce Keys and Finn Balor in the last Fatal 4-Way this Friday on SmackDown. Who's going to win that, though? I think... Because here's the thing, who's going to win? I don't think it's going to be Oba, because I think Oba's going to lose. So it's not going to be Dom, it's not going to be Javon. So is it going to be LA Knight? Do we think LA Knight will win that Fatal 4-Way and then win King of the Ring? And if he does, he's going to face Roman at SummerSlam, right? I don't know. I've also been hearing, what if Finn Balor qualifies? Finn Balor wins, he faces Cody at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. It could go a couple different ways here, so I'm very interested. We just have to wait. We have to see who wins this final Fatal 4-Way, and then we can go from there. But, just again, the heat between LA Knight and the Bloodline, LA Knight and the Usos, the heat continues. So it's just heated there. Again, what's going to happen? Is LA Knight going to face Roman at SummerSlam? I don't know. Like, there are a lot of different possibilities for what could happen here, but the beef between LA Knight and the Bloodline continues. Now let's talk about someone else who qualified in the Queen of the Ring. It was Liv Morgan. Of course Liv Morgan's going to qualify. Liv Morgan advanced in the Queen of the Ring tournament, and I'm not going to go on another rant, because you guys know I'm already not happy about her in the freaking tournament, but she advances. She beat Becky, Chelsea Green, and Alexa Bliss in the Fatal 4-Way. Now, on the other side, we have, like I said, SmackDown, Raquel Rodriguez advanced. Last week on Raw, Io Sky advanced. So next week, it's going to be Raquel Rodriguez, Io Sky in the semifinals. Liv Morgan qualified. SmackDown, we have the last women's Fatal 4-Way. Whoever wins that will face Liv in the semis, and then they'll meet each other. So, is Liv and Raquel going to meet each other in the finals? Yeah, that'll be interesting, I guess. Again, I don't want Liv Morgan in the freaking tournament, but if they're... At this point, that's what they're probably going to do, is they're going to have Liv and Raquel in the finals or something like that. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But Liv and Raquel in the finals, I get it, is then because that's building the story of them breaking up and all that. I get it, but still, I just don't want Liv in the freaking tournament, but whatever. By the looks of it, it's going to be something like Liv and Raquel in the finals together or something. I don't. One of them at least is going to be in the finals, but yeah, we'll see. Then let's get back to Chad Gable, because remember I said Chad Gable apologized to Rey Fenix, but now he had to come to Raw because there's other people he had to apologize to. He talked to Penta, and he apologized to Penta, and and said similar thing about how he's sorry, and he realizes now that he wasn't just insulting, just like he was insulting an entire country and like an entire culture by doing what he was doing. And Penta's like, hey, you're a man and you admitted that you were wrong, and I appreciate that. But there's one big one you got to apologize to. Rey Mysterio. So Chad Gable then goes to Rey Mysterio. So Penta, Rey Fenix, they're like, hey, we're cool. Now he has to go to Rey Mysterio. So he goes to Rey Mysterio, and Dragon Lee's there as well. And Dragon Lee's like, hey, you're good. I got you, man. And then he apologized to Rey, and Rey's like, look, stop beating yourself up about it, man, all right? Like, hey, yes, like, there were times I wanted to, like, knock your head off your shoulders, but you understand now. And so, basically, it's all forgiven. It's like, hey, look, yeah, you messed up, but you're a man and you admitted that you were wrong, and now you realize your mistakes, and you're better now. So and we're all good. So apologies accepted for Chad Gable, but Rey did say to him though, before you put that mask on, you did some things that you shouldn't have done it. Like just because he even before the El Grande Americano, he was like, well, he was a jerk. He was a heel, right? So remember the whole thing with Alpha Academy, the whole thing with that. So Rey was just kind of saying to him, like, you got to look back at the stuff and just say, look, even before you put the mask on, you did some questionable things. Go back and look back at those things and, realize what you did wrong there. So just basically Ray being the mentor, just like Ray being the locker room leader that he is. He's saying like, like, hey, I forgive you, man. We all forgive you. But just look back at those mistakes you made and, realize what you did wrong. So just even before you did the El Grande Americano, before that. So we'll see what happens with that. But, Chad Gable I love Chad Gable. He's trying to make up for the mistakes he's made. And I love that. No. She's sniffing the camera now, my dog. No, don't do that. Hey, it's okay. But so it's just cool though to see Chad Gable on this, this better journey. He's trying to be a better person. He's trying to make up for the mistakes he's made in the past, which is cool. I like that. And then we see him again because what happened was we had the epic battle. Penta, Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. Penta wins in the end. And what happened was then Rusev, hey, it's okay, doggy. Rusev and Ethan Page came out, and they assaulted both guys after the match was over. They beat him up. Rusev, and then Dragon Lee tried to come out and help too. Dragon Lee got taken out. Rusev unmasked Rey Mysterio and was holding up Rey Mysterio's mask. Then Chad Gable comes out with his old theme. Remember American Alpha? His American Alpha theme, like when he was a good guy. That theme. So he came out, he took out Ethan, he took out Rusev, and then he gave Rey Mysterio his mask back, and they put the mask back on Rey Mysterio. So Chad Gable, a new man. He's giving Ray his mask back when a year ago he would have been the one taking the mask off, right? So just very cool. It's cool stuff to see that, Chad Gable making amends. Yeah, so very cool. Sol Ruca defeated Lyra Valkyria in her first women's Intercontinental title defense. That was cool. Sol Ruca. And then, let's see, anything else I missed? And no, that's it. Yeah, so Raw was pretty good. France was electric. No Roman, but he's going to be back on Raw next week, which will be good. And, again, LA Knight talking all this crap, Jey Uso, it's intense, man. I don't know. Who's going to win King of the Ring? Who's going to win Queen of the Ring? I don't know. It could go a couple different ways, so I'm excited. We have to see who wins the final Fatal 4-Way for both men and women on SmackDown. We got to see what happens there, and then we'll go from there. But, yeah, again, Seth Rollins still having problems with the vision. They're not done yet. I don't know, man. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But I thank you guys for watching. I love all y'all with all my heart. And yeah, that's it for today, guys. Leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe for more. Sorry for my dogs. They're just being dogs. Yeah, I love them, though, and I love y'all. Cmoney is out.